Welcome back to another segment of Manifest with SII Power with your host, Dwight. Hope everybody's doing wonderful out there. Thank you for liking and commenting on the videos. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. And thank you for telling others about the channel. On this segment, we're going to cover in-depthly self-concept. So in a nutshell, what is self-concept? Self-concept is the way you see yourself, the way you view yourself, and then the way you see yourself in relation to others, in relation to material things, and in relationship to circumstances, and in relationship to environment. This is very important because your self-concept literally controls everything. Like it's like the manager of your life, right? And so what I mean by that is if you have things elevated, you know, higher value than you on a pedestal, um, excess potential, excess energy is going to work against you and it's going to cause things to be challenging, difficult, or hard to accomplish. And you're doing this to your own self because internally you're shrinking yourself and externally you're making the circumstance, you're making the material thing, you're making the person, you're making the accomplishment larger than you. I hope that makes sense. So you can be elevating, you know, a car, a person, the promotion or the pay increase. You know, it goes into your believability, your deservingness, and your worthiness too. It's the reason that you're doing it. So it's it's an inside job that you're doing to yourself, um, in opposition, basically. And so what you need to do is you need to know that you are the source, you are the power, you are the agency. You are everything. You're all that there is. And you already have everything. So now that's like you being on top and you looking down at whatever it is that you desire, whether it's a material thing, it's a circumstance, it's a condition, it's a situation, it's a person or whatnot. And this is very important because when you esteem yourself highly and you value yourself highly and you know your worth, things will begin to work in your favor. Whereas if you shrink yourself, you devalue yourself, um, you don't know your worth, you know, you believe everything everyone's saying, you know, 98% the world is negative. So if you take on that train of thought, which impacts your feelings, emotions, and mood, then you're not going to feel like you deserve the things that you say you want with your conscious mind. And so likewise, the programming in the subconscious mind is going to overrule what you're saying you want every now and then because there's a program playing. So what I suggest that you do is you got to build a royal like self-concept. You got to build a queen like self-concept. You got to build a king like self-concept. You got to build a god like self-concept. And there is a difference between arrogance and confidence. You know, confidence is repetition. You know, when you've done the internal work and the external work, you're going to feel a certain way. And then when you haven't done the internal work and the external work, you're also going to feel a certain way and you're not going to be able to claim, you know, higher prizes, if that makes sense. So, like I said, you need to build a royal self concept, a queen like self concept. You know, if you're female, if you're male, you need to build a king like self concept. And you need to build a god-like self-concept or a goddess-like self-concept. It means you need to esteem yourself highly. You need to know your value. You need to know your worth, right? You need to practice self-love. You need to practice self-care daily. As you do this, you'll have the concept of yourself, the identity, the self-image, the concept of self that can receive what's already yours because you're all that there is and everything already belongs to you. You just have to be open to receive it and you have to practice the art of allowing and you have to be in a space of grace and practice the attitude of gratitude because everything already belongs to you. How it comes into the physical 3D is a divine unfoldment. You know not how. Faith is involved, you know what I'm saying? As well as, your thinking, your feeling and emotionalizing and your storytelling, and then how you're perceiving, you know what I'm saying? So it's important how you see yourself, right? It's important how you see your world. It's important how you see others. And it's important how you see circumstance and environment. This is largely dictating to you what's able to happen in your reality. You know, your perception is key. Your imaging is key. And then, the consistency of your imaging, you know what I'm saying? You're visualizing, your storytelling, and how you're feeling and how you're thinking, right? Because you're supposed to be in the state of your wish fulfilled. In the state of your wish fulfilled, you're going to be believing for the expected outcome. You're not going to be believing for an opposite expected outcome. And this is the difference. It's small differences that make a big difference. When you have something similar, like when you order the food, you're not worried about it. So everything already belongs to you because you're all that there is. You have to treat it like when you order food or when you order something from Amazon. Like when you place the order, you just go on about your business. Every now and then you might think about it, or you might do your visualize, or you might do your mirror work. That's fine, but it has to be in a state of normalcy. It has to be a state of naturalness. It can't be you're anxious. You can't be looking, like you do for text messages to see if someone's texting you, or looking outside the front door to see if anything's changed. You can't do that. You just have to put your order in, right? Have the level of expectation and then detach from it. You know what I mean? That means that you're cool if it happens, you're cool if it don't happen. That way it increases the probability of potentiality and the possibility for that specific thing that you desire to happen for you. But if you're like thinking like it can't happen for you, or you're not um, embodying, occupying, stepping into the version of yourself that already has it, it's going to be an issue. And that's because you're attached. That means that you feel like, oh, if you don't get this, you don't have this, then, you know, you're not it, or, it makes your life incomplete or whatever. If it has that much weight, it's going to be a problem. That means that you have it on a pedestal. You're making it too important. You have excess energy, excess potential, and that's causing resistance. You know what I'm saying? It's going to make it very hard for that thing to come into your life. So like I say, I reiterate, you got to build a goddess like self-concept, a god like self-concept, a royal self-concept, a queen like self-concept, a king like self-concept. That means you know your value, you know your worth. It doesn't mean that you look down on others or anything like that, but no, you're just rocking in your world, and you're setting the rules, and you have certain expectations. You have a certain vision. You know that these things are coming to pass for you. Why? Because you claimed it. You know that you're all that there is. You know that everything already belongs to you. You expect to be treated a certain way. You expect to be spoken to in a certain way. Um, you expect respect. You command respect. And you just know that, you have a good self-concept. You have a high self-concept. You know your value. You know your worth. And you're not going to settle for anything less. You're not going to tolerate any disrespect. You just value yourself. You esteem yourself. And you're practicing self-love, and you're practicing self-care every day. So you've done it so much that it's just normal. You just expect good things to happen for you. You expect to just receive blessings. You expect to be the right person in the right place at the right time to seize opportunities. Um, people are recommending you for things. People are giving you gift cards. People want to take you to lunch. People want to take you to dinner. People want you to go on a vacation with them. You know what I'm saying? They don't even care if you have the money to pay for it or not. Why? Because you're esteeming yourself highly. You know what you bring to the table. You know your value. You know your worth. And you're just esteeming yourself highly, right? You know your value. You know your worth. and you're set on that. You're standing 10 toes down on it, and you just know, like, hey, I have value. I'm great. I'm good. I'm this. I'm that. You know what I'm saying? You're in your I amness. You're in the isness, and you don't care about what anybody thinks. Like, your story, right? You know what's happening inside of you, and people are just reflecting it back to you. That's the only way that it can be. And so, with that happening, it's because you have the right self concept. And when you build the right self concept, it's automatic. Like, people are going to reflect it back to you. They're gonna feel you. You know what I'm saying? People be looking at you like you don't know why. You're not even paying attention, but people are looking at you because people think that you're somebody. They're like, man, they want to know what you do, or they're just watching you and they're just wondering because they see your light. You know what I'm saying? They see your light shining and they just want to know, like, man, who is that? What do they do? Like, they look like somebody important. So it's about building a healthy self concept, right? It's about building a royal like self concept. It's about building a queen like self concept. It's about building a king like self concept. It's about building a God like self concept. It's about building a goddess like self concept. Just feel like you're important. Know that you're relevant. Know that you bring value to the table. Know that you have a great service to offer. Your passions has the ability to help somebody, whoever that is. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to know right now, but this is the concept of yourself that you got to build. It's very, very important because this is mandating, this is dictating, this is orchestrating everything in your life. It's controlling everything in your life, just like a manager or like, a governor on a Rolls Royce. When you get up to 90 miles per hour, that car is not meant to be driven like that. The governor kicks in, you know what I'm saying? And there's something you got to do if you want to go faster. 90 is that cutoff, so it's governing the speed of the car because that car is not intended for that. That car is meant for styling, profiling, and cruising. You know what I mean? That car is not meant to be going 100 miles per hour. That's a cruising car, 20 miles per hour, 40 miles per hour, letting everybody see the eye candy. You know what I mean? That makes the difference. And so even on the airplane, if something's going wrong, there's something, it's a governor on there that puts everybody on notice. So your self-concept is your governor. So when things are going awry or not like you want them to, then there's something off with the concept of yourself, the self-concept, the self-image, your identity. You're identifying with something that's in opposition to what you say you want. And this is very, very important. So, with day in, day out persistence,